As a young rugby player growing up, I was probably a little bit angry. As I grew up, as I got more experience, I realised the power of actually talking to somebody about it could have. The one thing I can say in the last 5, 6, 7 years is the fact that I have spoken to people when the times have been bad. I've sought help. I wish I'd have been there to talk to some of the guys that I've had experience with. I mean, I live with a guy, and sadly he took his own life, and he was the happiest, friendliest guy I've ever met. We never really talked about, I suppose, serious things, and looking back, we might have just touched on more serious things, and we maybe take away the stigma behind it, because you can talk to your friends about anything, and that's the beauty about your friends. When a young guy like that takes his own life, it's, if anything, I just thought, why didn't he talk to me? Why didn't he talk to somebody else? And maybe it's because we didn't have that bravery, we didn't have that courage.
Becoming a dad, for me, just put everything in perspective. From the moment we found out that that was going to happen, and she fell pregnant with our son Blake, everything changed for me. My whole outlook on how I was as a human, how I was as a person. I wasn't a bad person, but I made a few bad decisions, and I think for me the main realisation was that someone is going to be dependent on me, and I want to make that person proud, and I want to do best by our child. And now all my decisions I make, I put my family first, and I think that's the biggest thing for me growing up to being a father is you have to put other people first. I tried to ask a lot of questions because I didn't have the first clue what I was doing. You probably don't see it as manly to ask questions, especially about pregnancy and birth and that sort of thing, but I think it was really important for me to seek that advice from lads that had gone through it before, and I'm really pleased and proud to pass on any advice that I can to anyone else.
It hasn't always been easy. My personality is I can be very outgoing, very happy, sociable, but then I can quite easily buckle under pressure, get quite low, and spiral. I'm now in a place where I'm far more in control of my day-to-day outlook on things. A huge part of that was being able to talk to my friends. They've enabled me to be in a position now where I'm capable of coping with that. In 2016, I was involved in an incident in an England international that ended up getting quite a huge amount of press-related coverage. I'd done wrong in that match, but it started to spiral into a situation that I hadn't been used to before. Social media getting quite a huge amount of abuse, stuff that I wasn't really used to coping with. I play rugby to play rugby because I love it, I enjoy myself, have fun and do that lot. And it started to affect my rugby, and it started to affect my home life. And I wasn't enjoying myself anymore. I wasn't enjoying rugby, I just wasn't happy. I'd been picked to go on the England tour to Australia, and it all come to a head really. I spoke with Eddie Jones, the head coach at the time, and said, I can't do it, I can't come on tour. I don't feel like I'm enjoying myself anymore, I don't feel myself. I just need some time away from the game. And he looked at me and said, yeah, okay mate, I can see it in your eyes, you clearly need a break, do whatever you want to get yourself sorted. And I spent a huge amount of that time discussing things with my wife, trying to get through that, but also my close friends around me about problems that I was experiencing at the time and how I was going to get through it and move forward. And just being able to open up and get it off my chest to the people that are closest to you. I guess for me, without those guys that I was able to talk to, I wouldn't have been able to get through those tough points in my career and in my life.
Part of the professional game, which can be the cruelest part of it, is injury can take away opportunities, but also someone can decide that they may or may not want to keep you anymore. And there was a period of time where I thought I was maybe in that situation, and it's something that I've found really challenging emotionally. I'm incredibly fortunate that I've got a really, really supportive wife, but also wider family, and I've always been someone who has tried to be a good mate and a good teammate to the people around them, and luckily for me that's that's meant that I've got a lot of guys I can lean on as well when things get tough. So yeah, I had some dark days for a few months when I thought I was maybe having to leave the game that I love when I wasn't ready to. There's a really special bond, I think, in any sport, and certainly in a team sport like rugby. You go through a huge amount together. A lot of people think we look pretty tough on the outside, and you do have to be to play the game we do, but there's a lot of emotion attached to it, and being able to be open about that and talk with guys that mean a huge amount to you, and hopefully you mean a huge amount to them, can really, really help.
To be a better dad, I had to be a man of more words.
To help face the future, I had to be a man of more words.
To be less afraid, I had to be a man of more words.
To be less angry, I had to be a man of more words.